that I have to liaise with at the public service on your matters. So I'm having a meeting. Actually, the meeting was supposed to be yesterday. So I changed the time of the meeting because I wanted to speak with you all today. So I want to make sure that when I am going into the meeting, we'll reschedule when the meeting is going to be held, that I am representing that which you want me to represent. So I want to say that one, the list is compiled. There are 62 persons that I have on this list that was just gathered a few days ago. If there's anyone on this call whose human resource matter is still outstanding, so let's say you've not been confirmed as yet, but you've already passed 1 year, you've not received a promotion or promoted to the career path, or you've not yet been reclassified, make sure if you did not send me your information from last night going forward, because whatever I had from last night, I have in front of me. So if you did not send me any information, just send it by WhatsApp to me now, 376-4002. So your name, your school, your employee number, and whatever the issue is. So again, I've pulled the guidance counselors out of my full list of almost 500 persons because I want to deal with you all specifically since the career path has been approved and they're now putting you on the career path. So I want to make sure that we don't miss out anyone and that persons are reclassified, reassessed, and promoted. Um, Anybody want to say anything? Go ahead, Russell. And promoted.
Good night, President Wilson. I wanted to ask a question in regards to the reclassification exercise. I wanted to know officially what if you are supposed to be reclassified. Like I started like a couple well years ago, right? And I have my master's now, and I understand that they're only reclassifying up to like one step, one or maybe two steps. So I just wanted to confirm where you're getting reclassified to. Is it going to be reclassified to where you're supposed to be, or whatever they see fit?
But okay, let me say this: the reclassification, they're not necessarily reclassifying one step or two steps, because it has to go with based on what the requirements are. So let's say, for example, let's say I'm not picking on you, but let's say I see you, Michelle Hudson. Let's say, for example, you have the master's degree in guidance and counseling, and you have, let's say, 15 years of, so that they're reclassifying you based on the criteria. And I know I've sent them several documents that has been approved by cabinet and the Ministry of the Public Service. So that is what I'm waiting to get a copy of that to see how much of the recommendations that we would have sent in, how exactly are they doing the steps. But definitely the steps would have to be done based on the requirements, which would be definitely, you have to look at the qualification. That has to be a criteria. And definitely, I would think the years of service would definitely be two of the criteria that they would be using. But there is a document, because I'm telling you, I see Michelle Hudson on is up. I know Sandra Marshall should be on this call. And Sandra Marshall, Michelle Hudson could tell those of you who may have just come that they have been on a committee with me from 2009 working on this career path for the guidance counselors. And we had some persons like Miss Ruth Dean who retired, who was already retired. Some other persons Dana, who were working along with us. Dana Smith, who's already retired. So that's how long we've been working on this career path. So I'm really happy that it's been approved. It's in place, and they're now doing the process of getting persons on the steps or the levels that they should be on. So once I get my hand on the document, I will definitely share it with you all. Go ahead, Michelle Hudson. So once I get my hand on the document, I will definitely
You kind of answered
share it
most of
with
what
you
I
all.
was gonna ask. And even before you,
Go ahead,
we were
Michelle
working
Hudson.
on the pathway. So even before that, it was being shoved and pushed and kicked and everything else before even Belinda got involved in it. And it's really disheartening to see how many of us already retired and did not get sorted out as yet. And it looks like there might be some more of us who get retired and nothing happening from what I'm hearing. So I'm hoping that that's not what the case is, and that everybody who has been there for a long time would be either godfathered in or whatever it is they want to call it, but sorted out before retirement. For those of you who started after everything got sorted out, most of you would have started on the career part already. But the older ones of us, we are still struggling.
Thank you very much, Hudson. Go ahead. I'm Delary Spafford out of Eleuthera. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. I wanted to ask, is it so that they're going back only to a certain amount of years, or that's not so?
Okay, I don't know if they're going back to a certain amount of years, because you heard what Hudson said, and Delary's, you've been a part of the groupings, the various groupings discussing the guidance counselors career path previously. Hudson will definitely remember. I know you probably would. I know Sandra would remember. We actually, when we did our recommendations, that gives the public service the authority to put on anywhere with psychology, child and family, social worker, sociology, theology. It's not there. So I can see how best I speak to the minister of public service at talking now, not education, to look at this and to try to see how best they can address individuals who've been in the service for so long. And if there was no degree, there's no degree, that no mass, no degree at UB, can't even think that they're doing the course anymore, because I know they did a couple of years. So what is it you're expecting these seasons to do? Leave their family and go study how? So definitely I'll have a discussion with the Minister of Public Service. Go ahead, Sandra Marshall. I see you in this. Go ahead, Sandra. Sandra, Mike can speak. Okay, go ahead, Monique, go ahead, Ines. Ines, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Ms. Wilson, is there a minimum or maximum year that you can go back to be paid? For example, you keep talking about 2001, 2002, when this came about. Those who I've spoken to, it seemed like if only paying you back to 2015. Is there some policy that said there's only a certain amount of time they can go back to?
I think there is. I think there is. Because even some persons who got like confirmation and they got um qualification and then got confirmed, they only took it back a certain number of years. Now, let me also say that the policy that I just worked on that I sent to the minister yesterday, the other policy, we looked at me and her because we had some discussions on this from year before last. So we looked at going back as far as 2018. And I basically said, okay, let's look at the 2018, the 5 year span. But when I got the information from the teachers, and I think there are about one or two guidance counselors, even caught up in that course of overload, I asked them to go as 2007. So see what I'm going to say. But
It,
uh, what also have to look at too, though, there has to be something that's called compromise. Because if there is no policy for you, and I can pick on Kevin. So let's say Kevin Russell was in from 1995. And I say, listen, man, could we look at his degree and waive him and get him grandfathered in and whatever? And they say, well, okay, we father him in, but we're only going to back to pay him as far back as 2015 or 2017. Or so I'm saying there has to be room for compromise. Because as it stands now, you have no leg to stand on. Because they took you into the service against what the policy was. Now, who you gonna look for to blame for that? They probably done
okay,
dead
I
all the time.
understand that scenario, but remember now, the first one question you asked was when was the graduation? Most of us got our master's degree in the first cohort in 2003. So it would seem that we worked for almost more than 10 years for the ministry for free, even though
Okay,
we
but
had a pipe in our hand.
okay, but let's go back
I
again.
do see your point.
No, let's go back again though.
Okay,
Let's go back
I
again
understand that
because I
scenario, but
asked
remember
y'all
now, the
when you
first one
started,
question you asked was when was
2001,
the graduation?
completed December of
Most of us
2002,
got our master's
graduated
degree
January of
in the first
2003.
cohort
I
in
have that. And you all have the
2003.
masters in guidance
So
and counseling
it would
from
seem
Kent
that we
State. So what I'm
worked for
saying is
almost more than
y'all
10
are in a
years for the ministry
different
for free,
category
even
of
though we had a
argument that
pipe
I
in
have
our
to
hand.
make. which is different from Kevin, which is different from Michelle and some others. So that's what I'm saying to you. And this we've been talking about this now. I mean, almost 30 years now. The guidance and counseling pool, it's all over the place. Y'all are similar to our teachers' aid. We have persons in the school say, "Oh, I'm a teacher's aide." So when they say I'm a teacher's aide, Miss, they didn't give me that. I said, "Okay, send me your letter when you were hired and who hired you." Education hired them as a general service worker and send them in the school with the name teacher's aide. So when the public service level, you even in the public service. Secondly, don't recognize you as no teacher's aide because we need 5 BJCs for you to be a teacher's aide and you don't got one. But the ministry hired you as a general service worker on your letter and put you in the classroom and say you were a teacher's aide. Sin and education is to blame for plenty of this mess up because they went and they hired persons without the criteria, and then now years later, no one worked. How do we get this corrected? And I can tell we have worked on this. I mean, for years now. Yes. Go ahead, Shavita, and then Kevin Russell after you. Campbell, go ahead. Vita. Okay, go ahead, Kevin.
I'm just wondering, was there a criteria? Was there a posting for guidance counselor in 1995?
I don't
Or
know.
was there,
I don't know.
because, yeah, I remember coming in,
Okay,
in
Evan,
the
they had
system,
none.
they had none.
Yeah,
No,
because Kelly, you four.
came in 91.
Oh, you get anyone. Okay.
Mhm.
Sorry,
They had
I'm just wondering,
yeah, done
was there a
with my
was there a
share.
posting for
Good evening,
guidance
everyone.
counselor in
Share that
1995?
when I
Or
came in the in two and
was there, because,
Mm-hmm.
Miss
yeah, I
Powell would
remember
have
coming in,
said I would have
okay, Evan,
in the
passed
they
the
system,
had none.
year track
they had none.
post audit.
I can tell.
I came in
Came
with
in
a associate
91.
degree and I did the
Mhm.
master's
They
after that,
had
but I came with a sociology degree. So to say that they're not accept those social sciences degrees, initial how was it and I uh, acquired the mental counseling and still listed as a trainee guidance counselor.
I love Miss Powell there, and I can tell you all the Shelleys and Eves and the kids who on here. Miss Powell, right? Very hard. Y'all, but ain't nobody was paying her no attention.
she was one of, we were between her and Whitfield, and we were one of the first set that
Mm-hmm.
started this. So I know she fought.
And she did.
You said who coming afterwards don't realize the fight that we had,
She
and
did.
the thing is, we had made provision to godfather certain people in, because we
Grandfather, the
grandfathered
grandfather.
in certain people, and
We
then next
did.
thing I know, they kind of kicked that off the thing up. But yeah,
And some of the
there
persons
was
supposed to be
nothing that we could
grandfathered in
fix
already retired.
between her and Whitfield, and we were one of the first set that started this. So I know she fought.
Powell and
You
retired,
said who
Whitfield
coming
and
afterwards
retired.
don't exactly realize the fight that we had, and the thing is, we had made
Yeah,
provision
so
to
this is
godfather
it's very
certain
messy.
people in,
I don't like to give people no fault, so it's very messy.
and the
Those
next thing I know, they kind of kicked that
like with the
off the thing
master's
up.
degree
But
in the
yeah,
school
there was nothing that we
and
could
guidance and counseling. Yeah, we ain't talking about y'all. It's just a matter if you're not on the level yet, it's just a matter of them working out and getting all your documentation and doing the process to get you on. What my concern is there's a number of you with the various degrees on here. What has been in the system for a very long time. So I'm gonna have to use the information that I have here about UB not having a degree even now, those who would have done the Kent State, and then like what Shavita just said, how yes, they were bringing persons. Mm,
Good day again. And I believe when I
oh,
inquired, I did see where they had the requirements that if you have a master's in school counseling, education, sociology, and theology, those were the related fields that they were
who
looking
that is
to.
talking?
That's Russell. I mean,
Where
I'm Russell.
you have that document?
I could, yes, ma'am, I can share that with you what I
Okay.
got.
Send that, please.
Okay, ma'am. I could, yes, ma'am, I can share that with you what I
Oh,
got.
guess what?
Okay, ma'am.
Oh, guess what? Okay, to what Innes was asking, but this is something here what the public service has, and it's remuneration in accordance with the Bahamas Public Service Union Agreement, and it goes back to effective from the 17th of July 2014 for payments of persons who got like certificates or degrees. So this is something what I could piggyback off of. Or degrees. So this is something what I could
Can't find something all the way back down in 19 something.
and looking in the policy. What I see here is
Can't find something all the way back
that's
down in 19
2014.
something.
Hold on, I'm still looking. And looking in the policy. What I see here is sure this was 2014. Hold on, I'm still looking. You know, I can do some research. The document I have so far speaks to July of 27. Hold on. Document I have so far speaks to July of 27. Hold on. Reassessment. Okay. Now, like this one speaks to reassessment of officers appointed prior to the 1st of 2009. Speaks to reassessment of officers appointed prior to the 1st of 2009. Speaks to reassessment of officers appointed prior to the 1st. Okay, I got some things I can work with. I ain't gonna bore you all with this. Okay, I got some. I ain't gonna bore you all with this. What I could do is I could read this between the night and tomorrow, God's willing. I can read that. I'm gonna put a draft together based on your grouping, and I want to send that draft to. I'm gonna send it to the minister and the PS and the lady in human resources so that when I meet with her next week, God's willing, we could up. I can put this on the agenda for us to discuss. I can look at this. Let me tell you you all what I can do. I'm gonna look at something and draft something y'all know. Okay, I'm gonna send it to your guidance counselors only. Please. Because y'all wouldn't know, but I can tell y'all the policy for the cost overload, there was only about maybe 17 of our approved by that. When I got the policy from the minister, I didn't send it all over the place. I sent it directly to the 17 of them. And I told them, I said, now this is not to share. Read it and message me back with your comments. And so some of their comments is what I use for the policy document that I sent to the minister yesterday. So if you have not messaged me, please message me. I saying this again, it is not a document I'm going to be sending all over the place. Please message me. It even is a document I sent into the executives. For now, it's a document I'm sending to you all. I need your feedback. For now, it's a document I'm sending. Okay, and then I'll table it at the executive meeting later on this month. But and send it on to the minister. But I don't want y'all to send it to no one. I can send it to y'all, each of y'all, personally by WhatsApp.
Can you send your WhatsApp number again, please?
376 4002.
Can you send
What
your
I'm gonna
WhatsApp number again,
also
please?
do too is I'm gonna call Kingsley Ferguson because he just had to call me late last night to send him a document. So I'm gonna call him to find out if he has another document other than this one that I have. Be encouraged to put to prepare to put some stuff together. So I can work on this. What day is? Wednesday? Okay. Yeah, probably I can work on this probably all tomorrow. So hopefully between Friday, no later than Saturday, y'all nice people what's happening y'all all hours of the night. I'll send it to you. Please don't share it with no one. If they're not on here, 65 of us on here, don't share it with no one. Just look at what I said and you give me your comments and what you could do. Yes, you can send the comments by WhatsApp. And what I'll do is I try to number it. So if I say number one, blah, 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 then your answer to me is number one. Because when I send it on to Ms. Fowler, it helps her to put my spreadsheet together more easily. Okay. Go ahead, Daniil. Stubbs, go ahead.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I wanted to know if there's any truth that policy states you cannot be promoted if you are superseding anyone. The persons who are being superseded has to be sent a letter that they're being superseded, and they have to acknowledge the letter before you could actually be promoted. Because I think that's a lot.
Okay, now that is true in the public service, but in my experience, it's not. Now that is true in the public service, but in my experience, it's not. They know about supersession letters. There are also some other public ministries or agencies. Yes, I'm quite aware of supersession letters, but I'm not aware of one. And I'm not talking about the people who work education now. Because you like okay, you listen to work in education in the building I'm talking about. They are they are clerks, they are secretary, um, they are officers. So some of them I'm aware of received like letters saying that they've been superseded and it's not for permission, you know. The supersession letter states that you let's say let's tie it to the guidance we understand. So let's say you were supposed to go to level two and there's only 10 positions for level two and they leave you at level one. They would then write to you to say that you have been superseded, and they don't say who the officers is, but they would say you've been superseded, and the session is because you were late, you were absent, your evaluation was not up to standard, etc. So some persons who like were superseded before, a lot of people who are not members of the BUT. I can be honest with you. Some of them even work like in the office of the prime minister and finance. And all. They would send me, things and say, could you read this, please? And give me some guidance. And so I'm telling you, it's a lady, I don't even know what. She said, somebody give her my number. And I read her stuff and she was superseded. And I gave her, some advice. So she just saw me the other day. She said, thank you so much. I did what you told me and I got sorted and whatever. So I'm not aware of it being done among teachers, guidance counselors, among us. But definitely I know about it in customs, in finance, in office of the prime minister, in education, persons who are working in the building, but they are like they're not educators, they're the clerical staff or accounts or human resource persons. But they don't need your permission to supersede you. But in you getting a letter saying that you've been superseded, they have to give the reason why they superseded you and you did not get the promotion.
Okay, so let me clarify. Like persons who have been in from 91 and still at trainee, this will not stop someone who came in, let's say, in 2015, has
No,
a
ma'am.
master's degree from superseding them into guidance counselor 3.
No, ma'am. Because okay, this, and I tell you, he's working on this forever. But last year, it was approved. So once that was approved and the career path has been established, the new people that are coming on, they are automatically on to the career path, training guidance, and especially those who are coming in with the requisite qualification. So those who have been in the service for several years or more, they're still where we at. There's a problem. And the problem is there was no career path approved at that time. And the requirements or the criteria or the qualification that they had at that time, there was no policy for that. So that's why now on the back end, we got to look at how can you revamp the policy and how far back would they be prepared to go. Let me also tell you something else too that I agreed with the minister of the public service with the policy that I sent yesterday. I also agreed to this. And you say, oh, you got to be crazy, whatever, and you do that to the teachers or whoever. But they were waiting so long to have this matter addressed. So I said to her, I said, let's get them reclassified and let's get them confirmed and permanent and pensionable. And let's wait for the money in the July 1st, 2024 fiscal year because the funds have not been allocated for this year. This year. So this year ends June 30th. So I don't know the financial year now ends June 30th. So I didn't want them to hold up our 17 persons to get them reclassified. So some of them are, let's say, teacher's aide, some is assistant teacher, some is, let's say, a trainee guidance. So now they would be able to reclassify them and get them confirmed, permanent and pensionable in those positions. And then the back pay, I've agreed, listen, let's get them sorted out on July 1st. Make sure the funds are in the July 1st budget to pay them forward. Because when you fool with the government, it takes forever. So sometimes you got to do some piecemeal stuff. And so the piecemeal is let's get them classified. Let's get them on the permanent and pensionable. Let's get them confirmed. And I also asked that the letters that they would send to them will be stating You are permanent, pensionable. However, we have made your position effective since such and such of a year or month or date, and you are entitled to X amount of funds that we acknowledge that we owe you. So to me, that's like splitting the baby. So even with this here, we have to look at how best, if we can, get the policy fixed, get some persons grandfathered in, and how far back they will be prepared to pay. And that's why I need a copy of what it is that they have already approved, because cabinet approved that. So I need a copy of what has been approved. And what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna send a note to um TPS WIMS, but I'm also gonna send something to the PS of the public service. I'm gonna send her a note, I'm making a note to myself, for her to send me a copy of. I'm also gonna send something to Undersecretary Culmer too in education, so I can get a copy of what it is that they've actually agreed to. Williams. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. I saw somebody else hand was up. Tanine, you finished? Stubbs? Stubbs, you had another question or that's it for you?
I'm done. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So those are the things that we definitely have to continue to work on. We gotta continue to push to get it done. And we really gotta hope for the best, especially for those who have been in the service long. So definitely, like I said, I'll work on that and I'll get something to you all, some draft, some framework to you between now and by Saturday, but I can try to push for to have it done tomorrow, by tomorrow night, whatever hour. Any other questions on anything that we talked about so far? Because I want to quickly tell you about two things, two other things. Anything so far? Anything else? To get it done, and we really gotta hope for the best. Okay, I want to quickly say to you, all, I went to ASCD conference last week, and I think it's really a large, the Bahamas, I think we had about 205 persons. Since I went to ASCD, I had two individuals that contacted me. One contacted me on a school well-being solution, and then there's one other one. I had a meeting with them on Zoom too. Actually, on the holiday, Monday, Easter Monday, I was on Zoom with this group and the other group I'm gonna mention to you. Um, what I want to know is there any interest in having, let's say, the guiders along with BUT, and I can look at for some other partners to look sort of some sort of conference, workshop, um, some kind of health fair or something of that nature, dealing with teachers' wellness. Is there an appetite for that from you all as guidance counselors? Don't all speak at once.
I would say yes.
So it's something that we can look at. And I think mental health, we definitely need to focus. I mean, we like to focus on the body, but I think mental health should be one of the topics that we look at. Fair or something of that nature.
Um,
Uh,
I would say
just
yes, but isn't that
Teachers' wellness.
almost
Is
what
there an
EAP
appetite
does? I
for
mean, I
that
could be wrong.
yes, about to say the same thing.
Okay, but
Uh,
what I said was, can we look at something where guidance, EAP is a part of
I would say yes.
guidance? I'm saying where guidance and the union can work together. So when I say guidance, EAP is a part of guidance. And let me tell y'all something about EAP, because I think a lot of y'all that. It's the Bahamas Union of Teachers that got EAP established. And we got that in our first industrial agreement that we signed off on November the 17th, 2006. And I could tell you, we were advocates and we pushed hard for that because we realized that human resources was not meeting the needs of our teachers with counseling, with mental health services, and with support. So it's the BUT really that caused EAP to be established. That's in our actual agreement. So I'm EAP guidance and BUT. So is it something that we can consider and have further discussion on at a later date? Kendra Seeley, go ahead. Unmute your mic.
Evening,
Yep.
everyone. But I have found that there are still some teachers, some staff members who are reluctant to go to EAP. They're not convinced that their information is going to remain confidential or that it's not going to come back to them in some way. So I'm not downing EAP. I think the service is awesome and we encourage them. But if we could also provide them with alternative resources and also encouraging them how to engage in self-care so that they can know, because I think a lot of teachers are stressed out, they're burnt out, they're frustrated, and we are seeing it in the classroom and their interactions with the children. So I think definitely it'd be a good idea.
Great point, but let me tell you something, talking to union business, it is our business, all as a union. But today I sign off on a requisition for a check for about 6 teachers that the BUT, because I work very closely with Dr. David Allen. So when there's a teacher that is having mental issues, once I'm aware of it, and they may go to EAP, and EAP may say to me, President, we can handle this more than, or sometimes when it's drawn to my attention and I speak with the teacher or I go to visit the school or we talk or I observe, then to me right away I call Dr. David Allen and I say, listen, I say, I got somebody I need you to see, blah, 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 whatever. So the BUT, and I'm on me just now. So for years, we have been assisting teachers privately in private programs. And one of the teachers that we sent, and we actually had to send her along with her children. They are now assisting with like the family counseling. They are assisting in a family counseling program. I won't go any further than that. So there are lots of members that we have assisted, and not only in New Providence or from New Providence, Grand Bahama, and the Family Island. So I could tell once it's brought to my attention right away, I touch base with the teacher and say, hey, how you doing? How you feeling? You want to try EAP? And they go and they try and say, it's working out all right for me. And they do their EAP. Or some will say, no, Miss Wilson, I don't want to go there. I don't feel good going there. I want to be in a private sport, whatever. So we're very I'm very cognizant of that, and we are very helpful in that way. We just don't go and tout a lot of things that we do as a union, but I can tell you, we've helped a lot of our teachers, 2 of whom we've just helped like 2 months ago. Yeah, so we do help a lot of them. So I appreciate you raising that, but and I'm glad that I have you all. There are teachers and there is a concern. Don't hesitate. Send me what's up, hey, Madam President. We've been watching or noticing XYZ or so and so is going to EAP. I don't know. We're not sure that it's working for him or her. And I could tell you, we help them. And what I've also been doing a lot too is when there's time, like for the let's say they've done their counseling or support groups, I also try to get them in a smaller school setting too. And I'm glad that I have you all, because a lot of times you can't just take them and thrust them back into the school with 700 and 1,000 children or whatever. Is sometimes it's overwhelming. Go ahead, Russell.
I think a lot of the stresses and stuff that teachers go through has a lot to do with like policies in education. And just talking to like staff members, when you look at the Easter break, you know, we're people, we're family people, we're teachers, right? But then when they move the Easter break to come back the day after the holiday, when in everybody's mind, that week was the time you rested, it seemed to have a negative effect on the school. Kids don't return. This week has been, last week was held, teachers didn't return. I wonder if there's any thought to move it back to how it was.
I tried to pull my document right now. If I
Yeah.
tell you, if I send to you my recommendations to education over the last 3 to 4 years, you'll just shake your head.
Excuse me, Madam President. Madam President,
Go ahead, Vernon.
AVP Rogers here. I listening carefully, and I'm going to agree with Kevin. Being in the school, being a classroom teacher, I hear the guidance counselor's concern, and I'm glad you brought the topic up. I see it as a more mental thing now for teachers, because coming back right after that Easter holiday, I feel even more tired and drained. And Kevin is right, many teachers did not return that week, and many students didn't return that week. And I think we're going on year 2 or 3 with this. I think we should revert that back. I think it's really tiresome on the body and on the mind. Just want to bring it up.
Okay, you all saw me move from my seat just to show you this. If y'all could see it. All right. So the director called me last night. Madam President, don't forget we waiting for your recommendations on the school calendar. And I could tell her, and I write her what's up and tell her. I always writing recommendations. Are y'all gonna follow them this year? So on here is not only the Easter break, but also the Christmas break. And I spoke to the minister last year and all about this. And I don't know if you all remember a couple of years back, I had to go to the prime minister to get the New Year's return change. So yes, I'm quite aware of what y'all are talking about. And like I said to y'all, I've written for about 4 years straight to Marcellus Taylor. And I also challenged them to not only look at the teachers' attendance, look at the children's attendance. The children don't come. Okay, right now, this calendar for 2024 have us returning
August
on
19th.
no, but that's gonna change, right? We ain't talking about that. I talking about it have us returning the 2nd of January 2025. That's a Thursday. Tell me why you don't want open school on a Thursday. So yes, I'm quite please just help me. Why? And like I said to you, I've written Friday go, Monday you go to school fresh. And I also challenged them. Yeah, so August, don't worry about that. That can push back. I can push back. But let me tell you what happens too though. When your members allow the president
August 19th.
and a couple of executives to fight alone, y'all make them think that the union is weak. Because I could write, I could go in meetings, I could speak up publicly, I could send out a press release. I do all that. But sometimes when I call and I say to y'all, I need y'all help. Everybody just go climb up and go in your room. And like I tell y'all, the beauty, you all know when our office open. Let me tell you what happens too. Our office was scheduled to open Monday, April the 8th. Well, I can tell you all, we had our full 2 weeks holiday. And then when they said it was an eclipse, I messaged the Secretary General. I said there's going to be an eclipse. We have staff with our little children with in school. I won't be responsible for nobody looking up in the sun and getting blind. Leave the office closed. And she messaged back, Madam President, we'll work from home Monday. See, so you have to be logical. You have to be sensible. When I send the permanent secretary the press release he tonight, Sunday night, asking her, there's an eclipse. We have a press release from the weather people. What are y'all gonna do with the schools? She didn't never even see the press release. So I wrote to say, listen, your teachers are not going to be responsible if anybody get injured. So we have a constant battle with education. And I keep telling them every time we're going to meet, I say, you're supposed to be the educators, but y'all have no logic. Y'all don't use common sense. Why will you open school the next day if Jonkunu was all this morning? Jonkunu was today. Why you gonna open school tomorrow? The parents tired. The people who was watching Jonkunu sleepy. What? Why you gonna open school the next day after Jonkunu? It makes no sense. She didn't never even see the press release. So it's just a constant. So I think she called me yesterday, my president. Don't forget, I said yes. I said the permanent secretary wrote to me and said Friday the 19th of April. I said, but you will get it before then. But I tell you, I could just take out the same paper, what I write, the letter I write for the last 3 or 4 years, and just change the date and send it to her. Because it don't make no sense. But they don't listen. My thing is, their thing is, oh, Belinda thinks she running the ministry. But I tell them, I wouldn't have to run the ministry if you all had used common sense. Apply logic and common sense to some of the things that you all do. To meet with the parents for open house and to present the progress report. I say, okay, could you ask the principal to provide for you a documentation, written documentation that says you are obligated to do this? Shop steward, no, Madam President, it ain't there. So I wrote to the shop stewards, message me, and then I posted on in the groups. I said, based on my information and knowledge, your obligation is 2 report cards, December and June of each year. A progress report, if, if you decide to do it, voluntary, and a report if you decide to go 6:30 in the night to open house. That is your choice. So they're still crying. Oh, we had to do progress report. We had to go wherever. You chose to do that. That ain't your duty. That ain't your obligation. That ain't written. So my thing is, a lot of times I said, you all bring these things on yourself. Oh, but the principal say, the principal, in a respectful manner, to show it to you in writing. Oh, she said in writing. So that's her wish list. That ain't your duty. So my thing is, a lot of times I said, so we like to take a lot of things and start crying. Cry to me. Because I already fought for you. The problem. So let them, they go look for these things. Or the principal say, the principal can't create a policy. The principal can't make you do something that's not a part of your duties. The principal can't dress you, bathe your skin, put you in your car to come out your house at 6:30 in the evening. You chose to do that. So a lot of the things that the teachers crying about, they bring on themselves. And when we have our meeting, y'all, I don't cut no corner. I love you all dearly. If you decide to go, that's like me. My agreement with the union, my contract with the union say 9 to 5. So you think y'all could call me now? Oh, yeah, I want to meet with you at 6:30, and you playing like you don't want to come to meet with me? You could beat up your gun much as you like. My contract says, my contract with y'all says that I work from 9 to 5. Now I chose to say, oh yeah, we got a meeting, and our meeting could be 6 o'clock today. I chose that. But y'all couldn't make me, you better come meet with us at 6 o'clock. Because I could pull out my contract from the BUT and say, I don't have to meet with y'all. My contract say 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, 6 o'clock today. So I'm saying we've already won some victories that teachers are allowing to be read away from us daily because they wouldn't stand their ground for what it is that we agree to. So I don't know what else to do. I can't tell you what else to do. Teachers are allowing other than stand your ground. Whenever they come to you and say this and that, you ask them, can you please provide for me the documentation? And that ain't being rude, you know. You're being rude. Other than stand your ground. You asking them to provide for you the documentation that supports that which they are asking you to do. And that's quite fair. Not because they're your boss, they just say, child, do this, do that, do the next thing, and you just say, okay, master. No, them days gone. Them days gone. You know what he do? It's 2024. And that's quite fair. Those days gone. So teachers need to also know what their limits are and what all they prepare to say, well, I'm not doing this anymore. I following this or I following that. But they just go ahead and then start calling and crying. I said, what you crying for? You chose to go and do it. What you want me to do? I send you the article that protects you. I send you the circular. I send you the information and the document. You when you did something, call me and say, oh, the principal do you something, then do you nothing. I trying to find there's a company called method. With the company called anyway, methods learning is what is from ASCD too. So what they asked, they have a, I think they have a SAT AC program. What is so I asked, I told them I would speak to guidance counselors, and if the guidance counselors feel as though the program is something that is helpful to the students, then we can go from there. Trying to pull I don't put hold on, I try to pull it up in a minute. It's part of it. It's part of it, but I can't get the page to go no further. It's SAT, CT, and they have a number of courses and we can go from there. Trying to pull supporting doc, etc. It's part of it, but I can't get the page to go no further. That I'll share this. I'm gonna open something. Give me a minute, y'all. And they have a number that they wanted to know if it would be helpful for our students. Supporting doc, etc. So this is suggested course of study. That hold on. I'll share this. I'm gonna open something. Give me a minute, y'all. That they wanted to know if it would be helpful for our students. So anyway, while I'm looking for it, is there a need for I would say capacity building for SATs and the ACTs For your students, they also talk about college and career advisement, and they have like practice, SAT and ACT practice examinations and tests. Let me stop sharing for a minute. See if I can pull. Let me stop sharing and see if I can pull up the document. But y'all can talk while I look in. For your students, they also is there a need for that? What is it that y'all are doing now? And they have like practice,
There's the PS2P
SAT and
program.
ACT practice
I guess with Ms. Rose, a former counselor.
tests. Okay, I think I
Um,
can stop sharing for a minute. Go
with,
ahead, go ahead.
I guess
So
with,
there's a
uh,
what is the program? But y'all could talk
uh,
while
I guess some of the high
look in.
school counselors could tell
Yeah,
you
high
better.
school
The
counselors, could y'all weigh in, please? What is it that y'all are doing now?
Well, at this time, this is
there's
for
the
Paul. We
PS2P
normally
program.
offer, we have two persons
I
coming
guess with Ms.
and
Rose, a
offer
former counselor.
SAT
Um,
classes.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Go
that
ahead,
will
go ahead.
be
So there's a what
after
is the
school
program?
or on weekends.
So
I guess some of the high
far, okay,
school
this is
counselors
it. I
could
find it.
tell you better.
So far, I mean, is that sufficient for you? Is there a need for
Well, at this
something
time, this is for
digital?
Paul. We normally offer, we have two
This
persons coming
this is a
and
college and
offer
career
SAT
planning. Y'all can see the screen, right?
classes. Yeah, and that will be
Yes, we
after
can see the
school
screen.
or
Okay,
on
and it's a
weekends.
turnkey digital curricular crafted by experts. I just gonna put this is program outline here. So y'all could just let me know if there's an interest. If it isn't an interest, then I'll let them know that there's we don't have an interest. But let me go to the SAT page. Okay, so they said they have 140.
Yes, we can see the screen.
Okay, 140 lessons, 160 quizzes, and four full-length examinations. And I think in order for the children to enroll in this, it's mostly $3 a year, I think, something of that nature. And I think they also do they track them. So let me know if there's an interest. If not, then no problem. I'll let them know that I've communicated or consulted with the and I think in order for the children to counselors and there's $3 a year, they have a program already. So the program is oh, you say you all have people that come in. But it's effective. I think they also do the is it effective?
Yes, but I mean, we can look at, you know, something like this as well. Because I don't think they get sufficient
Time
practice with,
made.
yeah, time. I don't think, it's sufficient time. But if it's something that they can do,
Yeah,
the
they can go
practice
in,
test
they
on
can
their
have a
own,
program
I
go in
think
at
that
any
would be
time.
helpful.
That's what I understand. They can go in at any time. But it's effective. They have various
Yes,
different
but I mean, we
materials.
can look at, you know, something like this as
They
well.
have
Because I don't think they get
videos.
sufficient
Time
practice with,
made.
yeah, time. I don't think, it's sufficient time. But if it's something that they can do, the
it
So
practice
this
seems
is
like
test
a
on
lot of
their
difference
own,
in high
I think
school
that would be
in the
helpful.
Bahamas as opposed to America is
they
that
can go in at
the
any time.
kids in their last 2 years they're more
They have
freer to
various
do
different materials.
I guess maths and a lot of
Do a lot of
I
things.
guess call subjects
Do a lot.
on in hours rather than class schedule.
Okay, because okay, glad you raised that. Okay, because
It
when I went
seems like a lot of
at
difference
when
in high
ASCD
school
last
in the
week,
Bahamas as
the
opposed
week
to
before last,
America is
last
that
week before last.
the
Yeah, I
kids
went into a
in their
session that
last two
dealt
years
with
they're more
curriculum
freer to do
and
I
what
guess
they are
maths
doing, just like what you
and a
said,
lot of
like
I
their
guess call
last two
subjects
years,
on in hours rather
they
than
have them doing
class
the
schedule.
advanced placement and they're doing courses toward their their college, but their program, the persons who presented their program is specifically for persons who want to go into education. So what they had them doing even going into the class, they go into the classroom like once per week or once per month or whatever with a teacher that they call a mentor. And they let them teach the class, have them mark papers, whatever. But they have, yeah, a plan that once they're completed, they already have some courses toward. I know that we do that on a very minimal basis, but they're deliberate and intentional with what it is that they do, and they've identified the children. And let me tell you something. I would have written to I would have written to education before, and I send them it's like a framework. I what I wrote to them is asking them to expand the teacher cadet program, um, make sure that guidance has like the facilities and the equipment that's needed for the students. They should also have make sure because guidance. I know you all would put the students in various programs, and sometimes they end up in programs because there's no space in other programs. But to try to have those offerings expanded for them to expand like their, I think that the children, let's say you're doing the auto mechanics, you're doing hospitality, whatever, that they should be going to those places at least. I don't know once a time and whatever. 3 days of the week, you in school doing whatever. The next 2 days, you on the job training, internship. They think outside of what's happening now in education now. And I also wrote about an incentive for them. So even if you give them one little a stipend, so you're giving them a monthly stipend, they need to also look at how do they encompass the the children from the family islands, Grand Bahama and the family islands. Grand Bahama to me is big enough that they can do a program there, a proper program. But you have the family island children. How do you include them in the cadet program and in these expanding their experiences and opportunities, man. School can't just be going there every day, the teacher talking. She hardly could find pen, paper, whatever for you, and you just go through your years like that. It has to be more, the experience has to be more than just okay, we going in 9 to 3 and they can teach us and they can tell us go do our homework and then we can do an exam, at the end of the term or at the end of 3 years. It have to be more than that. So I see that there's an interest. What I will do then is with method and learning, I will ask him if he's able to we probably need to do a meeting, a Zoom meeting, and we can have them present. So that the questions that you would have, what I definitely can answer for you, you'll be able to answer. And we can also tie into what pricing would be and how, because I did message him today. He messaged me today, and I messaged him to find out costing. I think when he met with me on the holiday, he did say I think $3 per child. But also, I wanted to know if they're going to, if it's something that y'all are interested in us um reviewing and getting more information on, if it is something that they would identify someone who will be specific to the Bahamas for the project. Let me also say to you all that I would have sent information to the Anglican board, the director for Anglican. If there's anyone here who has a contact for the director of the Catholic board, you all could send that to me, please. So I've already sent the information to, and I also sent it to some small private schools. So I would think that it is something that we should discuss not in isolation, but with them. And then I'm also prepared to, I said to them that I'm prepared to, if the teachers, the guidance counselors, the private schools, parents, if the interest is there, then it is something that I'm prepared to speak to the permanent secretary, the acting director, and the minister about. Because it probably can be something that they can look at for national. Go
Yeah,
ahead. I think that's
I would.
Forbes.
Mm.
Go ahead, Kevin, and then Forbes
Okay.
after you.
I have my kid now is in grade 12 at high school, public high school, and she did her BGCSEs already. And I mean, for something like that, like what you're talking about, it would be good for her to be for some time during the school day to be in a room where she can take part or facilitate a program like this, because with the subjects already down with her BJC, it's just almost like a waste of time. And that's what she's saying to me. I already have this BGCSE.
What
Uh,
next?
oh yeah, what I'm in grade 12. You know,
What
this
next?
hour or so could be spent in a program like what you're suggesting. That could be national because I'm sure she's not the only one in that situation.
Yeah, so she took her exams in grade
In grade
11 then.
11. Yes.
Yeah, that's another thing that I think that I talked to them about the advanced placement and give them the college classes in the 12th grade if they already did the 11th grade BGCSEs. I mean, come on, it couldn't hurt them.
You're suggesting that could be national because I'm sure she's not the only one in that
Okay,
situation.
go
She
ahead
have
and
a
talk her
she
exam.
have a 10, Miss Wilson.
Oh, no, that's tomorrow,
This
Bethany. Go ahead.
yeah.
Let Forbes go
Hi.
first and then you tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Miss Wilson, this program would also go with what we're already doing in guidance, right? It'll be an add to it. Because in our classroom sessions and in our work every day, you're basically working with these same topics and subjects that the counselors are bringing to the students. We're talking about schools, uh, I'm sorry, academic success, and we're also talking about testing and ACT and SATs and all those other topics. So I just feel as though this here would add to what the counselors are already doing in the schools with the students. And
And
I don't see a reason why we are not engaging our students in um, the well, after they would have already completed all of their exams, because in the private school you'll get that you're able to do college prep, or you're able to do certification programs. So all of those things are offered there. So those things can also be offered to our students after they would have done all of their exams, because there again, then what else are they to do? And go on their job placement and job training, and kind of changing the way how school is right now. So I think this program would be good to add to what we're already doing.
but before tomorrow goes, Bethel goes, Forbes, f- my thought, and that's why I said to them, I said, let me speak with the guidance counselors because I intend to speak to PS and the director and the minister, but everything is full of so much bureaucracy. And so, to me, I would think that if the guy, if there's a buy-in with guidance, and guidance then speaks to their students, and the students are able to speak to their parents, then maybe we can do it that way. And I mean, I'm not saying outside of the school, but in an addition to what they're doing in school, because I could tell you, I could speak to them up there about this. We could do a presentation because we've been doing it over and over.
Mhm.
And when you look around, a year passed and you still fiddling with your fingers as to, is this something that education would want to embark upon?
We just need to get serious about what education is supposed, like, what is it going to look like?
Yeah, man.
Because right now it's failing our children. We have children in the schools who really don't fit into what they have them as being in the norm.
Mhm.
Like we need some programs in there that we can filter those children in there who are having difficulties. They need the basics. So after I give you the basics, let me also put in some agriculture. Let me also put in some
Yeah,
arts. Let me
yeah.
also put in some other programs that will make learning for you more enjoyable, and you can feel like you have accomplished something at the end of the day.
Not only that too, because okay, and this the politicians every day running their mouth. Oh, the orange economy, the orange economy, the blue. What are we doing to prepare the children for the orange economy?
None.
The creative arts. What
Right.
we doing?
Right. Right.
Go ahead
Right.
tomorrow. Bethel, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just trying to piggyback on what Kevin was saying. Because we actually have an 11th grade student who has already sat and passed 7 BGCSEs.
Mm.
So the only thing I could do right now is try and enroll him in some dual enrollment program at one of the colleges out there.
Okay, yes.
He
But
has nothing left
go
to
ahead
do in grade
tomorrow.
12.
Bethel, go ahead. But but
Sorry,
guess
I was
what?
just trying to
Y'all,
piggyback on
y'all
what
need
Kevin
to
was saying.
probably,
Because we
y'all need
actually
to
have
probably give
an
me,
11th grade student who has already
y'all need to
sat
probably
and
give me a
passed
proposal
7
or a
BGCSEs.
framework
So the only thing I
to
could do right
present
now is try and
to
enroll
the
him in
minister and
some
the PS and the
dual
director.
enrollment
And what I can
program
do
at
is
one of the
just get a
colleges out
group of
there.
you, not no big, large,
He
whatever,
has nothing left to
maybe
do in
about
grade 12.
4 to 6 of you, um, to go with me to a meeting to speak to them about, like what next? What is it we preparing the children for? Go ahead, Carol. Menace, go ahead.
Okay, I want to speak to the AP. Once those children would have done their BGCSEs already, it is almost impossible to get the teachers to teach the APs, and you can't very well blame them because you're asking them to teach college level classes, because that's what the APs really are, college level classes without the proper compensation. Now, when those teachers have their students to pass the BGCSEs, they get a little stipend when the school reopens. So their focus then mainly is on the children passing their BGCSEs as opposed to them doing the APs once they're finished with the BGCSEs. So we need to
But
perhaps
but the part of the proposal will be compensation and remuneration.
yes, that is very important for the teachers because I can tell you, a teacher who did it last year, she had to spend monies out of her pocket, her personal money, to assist those children with the APs and didn't get any compensation from the school for it.
So so a part of the framework definitely is compensation.
Yes, ma'am.
Remuneration. Remuneration. Go ahead, Russell. Kevin.
Um, I guess another part of that too would be, especially, and I guess mostly for high school, if you want to implement it, is individual timetabling, man. It's ridiculous to think in the computer age that we still have block timetabling for students. Where 7 or 12 see through fallout for English, when a person may need more maths than you understand what I mean?
Yeah,
Individual,
that's the
I guess
IL
another part of that too would
program,
be,
boy. But
especially, I guess
but
mostly for
okay,
high
that's
school,
what
if
I'm
you want to
saying.
implement it, is
We
individual
just in a
timetabling, man.
box, and
It's
I really
yeah,
don't
and
see the vision.
I mean, I went to high school in 1978, and when I went to high school, I got an individual timetable. I went to class with kids right across my grade level. And in education, for us to keep doing this block timetabling is really
We doing the
limiting.
same thing over and over.
Yeah, it's really limiting the students' ability to advance, and for teachers to help those who they can.
So are there
Even
any of y'all who may be willing to put some kind of draft or framework together as it relates to like what next, like the advanced placement, like Foz was saying, the job placement, the job training, the college prep, the remuneration for the teachers.
over the years, I remember being at CR Walker. We had students fall out to BTVI, the ones who we know were not going to graduate. We had them come to school for 2 days or 3 days and go to
Which
BTVI
is
for some kind
excellent.
of.
Excellent.
So there's lots of programs that exist. I think it was at Iron Bailey at one point, CR Walker. We did a program show even. So I mean, it's things that we did, I guess, under the radar. So it's not, like you're doing creating something new. It's just a matter of formalizing it.
Yeah, but but you have to have a leader who's not afraid to do some things. Because when I'm in school for so long now, but I said to my then principal, I said, listen, these boys will be got walking around here, knocking on the window. Minutes you was to Doris, knocking on the window.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, okay. She know knocking on the window and coming out by P and looking at the girls and whatever. I tell our principal, I said, listen, ma, let's do English with them. Let's do math. Definitely we gotta put Jesus in them. So let's do RK. I say give them whatever the subject they're gonna do. If it's carpentry, because we had carpentry, we had hospitality, we had our programs. I say so auto mechanics. I say let them choose which one of them they're going to. I said if they gotta come to me for PE twice a week, I will take them. I said, but them coming to school and you giving them all the subject and all Leonardo them used to do all day was knock on the teacher window. Miss could tell you, knock on the window, come out to pee in the back and tell me, oh, Miss Wilson, these girls look good in these little shorts, and jump over the wall and go smoke dope in Doris Johnson subdivision. Yeah. And the other day I was going over PI. I had supposed to listen, Leonardo, he on top of the roof. There, they did some condos or something. He was there screaming out my name. So, but this the same boy who I tell the principal, listen, put this boy in one, put him in one something. But I don't know. I don't know because I tell him if it's me, the principal asked me at the time. So when it's time for their report card, what I supposed to tell education? Supposed to tell education that their report cards was 10 Fs anyway. There was a 0.00 anyway. I said, so that education know that these 7 boys, you put them in a program. Each of them are in a program. They'll go into the programs 2 days out of the week. They're going to be in school for 3 days, and these are subjects they doing, and you can do the report card of the subjects what they doing. I said, at the end of the day, even if they don't have a certificate, these boys could go to, I said, send them to Vim Auto. When they go to Vim, they can tell you what a 3-inch pipe is and what a cap is and what a plumbing this is and what the electrical. They can learn the size of the screw, the washer, they need to go learn something. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't know where we going in education. Honestly, I like the children. I give.
I would like to be a part of a group, I guess, to put a proposal together that because that's something I always
So that sound
something
like
really
Kevin,
necessary.
and that sound like Carol Minnis, and that sound like Tamara, Bethel, and Forbes. Y'all four. So I don't. Honestly, I don't know. Anybody else want to volunteer? Cause I done volunteer them for. I like the children. I give.
Parentina Mills is willing to
I would like to be
participate
a
as
part
well.
of a group,
And
I guess, to
males.
put a proposal
So
together
the
that
five
because
of y'all,
that's
y'all,
something I
y'all know each
always
other. So that sound
something
like
really
Kevin, and
necessary.
that
Yes,
sound
we
like
do. Very
Carol,
well.
okay. And that sound okay, like so I can leave that to y'all to do for the next month. Y'all four. A month is reasonable. Anybody else want to volunteer? Cause I my calendar.
It
Parentina
should
Mills
be,
is
Miss
willing to
Wilson.
participate as well.
I can give y'all one date.
Just a little bit
So the
more
five
time
of
than a
y'all,
month.
y'all know each what other. What I do with my calendar?
Yes, we do. Very well.
Yeah, the day is what? The ninth? So I can be talking
Okay.
about, no, let me see what May, let me see when in May. Hold on, I got a calendar. My calendar. Equal.
It should be, Miss
Oh,
Wilson.
okay, so could we look at,
Just a little bit more
I mean, for your little group to do your framework, could we look at, yeah, the day is what? The ninth? Could we look at you all sending me something by May the 10th? Today is April the 10th.
It should be, Miss Wilson.
So your little committee, the 5-man committee. If you all send me something by May the 10th. That's Friday, May the 10th. Y'all can send it before that if you need to. I mean, if you finish, and then we could meet. We could meet on WhatsApp for, I mean, sorry, on Zoom for about an hour or so before we come to the big group. So your little committee, the 5-man committee.
That's fine by me.
Okay. And y'all will choose who will lead and who will report, and that on y'all. And then could we say, I'm gonna try to get to y'all. I got a couple of, okay, I done send the pension document to the Prime Minister. I done send the other document to the Minister
That's fine
of
by me.
Public Service. And y'all will choose who will lead. Some have to send to Labor. I send that to the director. Okay, let us, could we say, today's the 10th. I'm gonna try to get y'all the draft policy document what I working on. I can try to work on that. Hold on, let me check my calendar. Make sure I ain't got no meetings for tomorrow. Some have to send to Labor with education. Hold on. I think I got a meeting. Okay. Hold on. Let us, could we say, today's the 10th. I'm gonna try to get y'all the draft policy document what I working on. I can try to work on that. Hold on, let me check my calendar. Make sure I ain't got no meetings for
Okay.
tomorrow. With education. Hold on. I think I got a meeting. Okay. Hold on. Let us, could we say, today's the 10th. I'm gonna try to okay, tomorrow is okay. I could work on that tomorrow. Okay. All right. So guess what? I can work on the policy tomorrow, goes willing, to try to get that to y'all by Saturday. I got a class Saturday morning. To get that to y'all by Saturday. Just to everybody now. And remember, y'all ain't sharing it. Y'all gonna look at it and say what the different changes need to be, blah, blah, blah. And if I miss out anything. And then to try to get that to y'all by Saturday. I got a class Saturday morning. To get that to y'all by Saturday. Okay, the 10th is when y'all gonna give me. Remember, y'all ain't sharing it. Okay, so this the group. Y'all gonna look at it and say what the different changes need to be, blah, blah, blah. And if I miss out anything. And then, okay, so y'all want let's meet. Okay, Thursday, May the 16th. On Thursday, May the 16th, I should already have my meeting with, but I got my meet, I think, hold on, let me let y'all know when I can do my meeting. Okay. All right, I'm gonna do my meeting with, with the public service for, oh, hold on, next week Tuesday, I gotta go to the, morning, you gotta go and meet to the Cuban ambassador next week, Tuesday.
Monday.
Tuesday. Okay, so guess what? If I go to the Cuban ambassador next Tuesday, guess what? I can probably go to public service at. So I go there by 11, maybe there until 11, 12. Okay, I can do the public service meeting for next week Tuesday.
Monday.
So y'all gotta get whatever information back to me. Guess what? I can try to get the policy out to them by Monday the 15th. Okay, I can do the public service. Okay, yeah, I can do the meeting for the 16th. Let me message the PS right now while like. So y'all gotta get whatever information message back to me. I can try to get the policy out to them by Monday the 15th. Okay, I can do the public service. So make sure everybody who's supposed to give me something pertaining to human resources or pertaining to the career part, y'all make sure I got that information, please, by the night, no later than tomorrow. Okay, I'm asking her for 2 p.m. next week. Vernon, you could be with me.
National Okay.
Emergency Management Agency. So make sure everybody who's supposed to give me something pertaining to human resources or pertaining to the career part. So you and most likely said, okay, all right. Okay, so I send the request for the meeting for 2 p.m. next week. I have another meeting at 10 the same day, so we probably be an hour and a half,
Okay.
and then head there. No, at 11 next week. Okay, so. Okay, so you and most likely said, okay, y'all want me before May? Okay, so I send the request for the meeting for 2 p.m. next. But I don't know how much information she'll be able to give me next week. Anyway, no, at 11. If there's a need for us to meet before, okay, so, okay, don't forget, now, May the 10th, it's a small group. Looking at next, what the programs are next and how you could expand the teacher cadet program and all these other job training, blah, blah, that group. And then, anyway, after the meeting next week, which is the 16th, if there's a need for us to meet before, looking at next, what the programs are next and how you could expand the teacher cadet program and all
another
these other
meeting.
job training, blah, blah, that group. And then, anyway, after the meeting next week, which is the 16th, May the 9th, for us to meet. No, the group meeting on the 10th. Before. Okay. I want to know when we could come back together, because we can need to discuss. Guess what? The meeting with them next week, the 16th. I'm gonna communicate, I'm supposed to communicate with this group for the SAT, ACT on Friday. So maybe the following week, between the 22nd and the 24th. So between Monday the 22nd, 23rd, or 24th of April, the 16th of April, I think we should come back together to discuss what I was able to achieve at the public service on the 16th and the discussion with these persons here, because I wanted to also discuss it with the executives in the executive meeting 2 days later. Guess what, y'all? This full group, let's look at Tuesday, the 23rd of April for another guidance counselor meeting. Y'all put that in, note that please. And the discussion with so Tuesday, the 23rd, 6 p.m. This everybody's Zoom. Oh my God. I'll do the link. And then I'll meet, God's willing, next week, Tuesday, which is the 16th, with public service. That gives me a week before I get to y'all. If it's something that they're asking me for, what I need from y'all for the information or documentation or whatever. And then let's come back together on Tuesday, the 23rd at 6 p.m. I didn't put it on my calendar. And for that, we'll be able to talk about the SAT and the ACT and the policy. And I guess if you all have finished some work, why y'all don't push to finish some work by the 23rd, y'all, the little group? Well, that's too tight. We'll be able to talk about the SAT,
Yes.
the ACT. Too tight.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Leave it to the 10 then. leave it to the 10th, but let's come back together on the 23rd, April the 23rd, God's willing, Tuesday, April 23rd, 6 p.m. And we'll be able to talk about the ACT, the SAT, this program, and what transpired
Yes.
public service.
Yes.
That's too dark.
Yeah.
Okay. ACT, SAT. Leave it to the 10th. Public service. That's my note. But let's come back together. Okay. All right. Anything we did not, I have AOB next. What we did not cover? Is it anything we did not cover? Okay, so I got policy. We got the small group, the working group. I calling you all the working group. The small working group. And then I have my HR meeting. Okay, is it anything else beyond AOB now? What we did not cover? Is it anything we did not? AOB? Okay, so I got policy. Anything AVP, Rogers, anything?
No, ma'am, but duly noted.
Okay. All right, so I see something in the chat. Hold on before we go. Okay, is it anything else? We on AOB now. Okay, Ines is talking about social life skills in the primary school. So,
No, ma'am, but duly noted.
any primary school person on the group, in the group? All right, so I see something in the chat. Hold on before we go. You would want to consider social life skills. You may want to put a component in there on that. Oh, Forbes is saying it's happening. It's happening in the primary. So guess what? Let's not spread ourselves too thin. I working on policy. I working on HR, small group, work on, like we say, advanced placement, the expansion of the teacher cadet program, college prep, and certifications, and the job placement and job training. And remember now, the focus is on that. I guess last 2 years, let's look at the 11, 12. Y'all could, do it the way you see fit. And then bearing in mind those who may have already done the BGCSE, and then compensation or remuneration for guidance and teachers. So depending on which role that you all have placed guidance in the whole scenario. Okay, Kevin, go ahead.
Uh, no, sorry, that's a mistake.
All right. I don't see any more hands. No one is saying anything on AOB. It is 8:27 p.m. AVP Rogers, thank you very much.
No problem, Madam President.
Yes, guidance counselors, thank you all so much. Let's see how best we could get some of these matters resolved before some of us go to retire. Okay, she's saying, okay, they have that and they're doing the character building, social skills, okay, in the level. Excellent. So thank you all very, very, very much. Thank you, Father, for the prayer. And thank you all. If there's anything that you remember when the meeting is over, send me a WhatsApp. If there's any documents that you've not sent to me yet that you need to get to me, get it to me. The cell is 376-4002, and the email is B as in boy, M as in Mike, Wilson, Wilson, 9730 at yahoo.com. So if it's too big to send with WhatsApp, then just send it on through the email. But get them to me, please, because I won't be ready when I get in my meeting. I don't like to fumble about. Thank you all so much for your patience, your attendance, your interaction, your recommendations. Much appreciated. So good evening, everybody, and please be safe out there. Thank you. But get them to me, please.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. You all be safe.
Good evening.
Be safe, be safe, be safe. Thank you all so much for your patience, your attendance, your interaction, your recommendations. Much appreciated.
Good evening, Madam President. So next week, Tuesday, right?
Yeah, Tuesday. I'm gonna I can send it to you and say it because the Cuban embassy, they just contacted me last night.
So what
Or
time?
this morning.
You have the time?
11 o'clock. So 11 o'clock. You probably can need the day because we're gonna leave from there to go to the public service.
Okay, so I'll let Teddy know that. All right.
Okay, cool.
So good evening, Madam President, everyone. Okay, all right.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Good evening, everyone.
I can send it to you and say it because the Cuban embassy, they just contacted me last night.
So what
Or
time?
this morning.
You have the time?
11 o'clock. So 11 o'clock. You probably can need the day because we're gonna leave from there to go to the public service.
Okay, so I'll let Teddy know that. All right.
Okay, cool.
So good evening, Madam President, everyone. Okay, all right.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Good evening, everyone.
I can send it to you and say it because the Cuban embassy, they just contacted me last night.
So what
Or
time?
this morning.
You have the time?
11 o'clock. So 11 o'clock. You probably can need the day because we're gonna leave from there to go to the public service.
Okay, so I'll let Teddy know that. All right.
Okay, cool.
So good evening, Madam President, everyone. Okay, all right. Good evening, everyone.
I can send it to you and say it because the Cuban embassy, they just contacted me last night.
So what
Or
time?
this morning.
You have the time?
11 o'clock. So 11 o'clock. You probably can need the day because we're gonna leave from there to go to the public service.
Okay, so I'll let Teddy know that. All right.
Okay, cool.
So good evening, Madam President, everyone. Okay, all right. Good evening, everyone.